As far as stats go, the market is moving and we are having fun. It is a hot July and the market is hot as well. So basically in August, we've already helped 3 people close on their home and we have 52.
Can I mention that that's day 2?
Yeah, that's day 2. Yep. Yeah, we only had 2 working days. So, we currently have 105 families that we have that are pending, that are looking to close here real soon. So great job, everybody, for reaching out. So how are we doing? Well, July, we had a great month. We were able to help 73 families, individuals, be able to buy a home or sell a home. And that's a record for us. So great job. And in August, we're hoping to beat that record with 83. And we currently have been able to close 309 homes so far, year to date. So that's great. We are definitely going to surpass where we were last year at this time, or where our last year's numbers, which were a record as well. So, and our goal is 750. Okay, so let's talk about overview a little bit. As far as homes that sold, we know that the inventory is tight. We know that there's not a lot of homes out there, but how are things selling? In 2019, we had 323 homes that sold. In 2020, we had 317 homes, okay? And these stats, just so you guys know where we're going off of, these stats are compiling from Bingham County, Bonneville County, and Jefferson County. So those 3 counties, and we're basically looking at single-family homes, okay? And so there are 317 that closed last month. So we're down just a little bit from where we were a year ago. And this is a cool chart that we are introducing this year. So basically this gives you an idea, because a lot of people look at the market and they say, man, the market's hot. The market's hot, but it's not as hot in every price range. And so if you can see from $200,000 to $400,000, the majority of the homes sell in that price range. And so not as many moving. I mean, from 600,000 plus, we only had 7 homes sell. Okay, and so the majority of the movement, and under $100,000.
What happened to that market?
Zero. It doesn't really exist in this area, which is crazy because for a long time, that's all we sold, was like around $100,000. And so, yeah, not one single home sold.
I know there's some that's been listed for less than 100. So that means even though they're listed that, they're going above.
Going above, or they didn't close in July.
Well, also, you have to remember, any houses that are in that price range are major fixer-uppers.
What she's saying is the homes that are under $100,000 are usually in pretty rough shape. And so you have to get fixer-uppers, and many times they get loans that can fix it up, and that might also alter things a little bit too, right? Is that what you're saying, Ashley? Yeah. Thank you, Ashley Curry.
I'm struggling with buyers in that price range that, because a lot of times if they're in that price range, they get approved for like FHA loans or RD loans or things like that. And those homes, typically since they're fixer-uppers, you need cash or conventional. And so they just can't get the house.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. And I guess for those watching on video, I'm 6 feet away from everybody, so I'm taking the mask off so you guys can hear. I'll put it back on, you know, because people like to comment on what we're doing and how things, but anyway. Okay, so homes sold basically from January to July. In 2019, we had 1,643 homes that sold. In 2020, 1,622. We saw a decrease, 1.3%. So we're seeing that. We're seeing that with the decrease in inventory, we're actually also seeing a little bit of a decrease in sales. It's pretty close to flat though. I mean, it's not a huge decrease, but we're not seeing inventory go up.
Does anybody remember the month that we had that big drop? What was it, March?
Yeah.
Remember how many there were less? We were down 80 units. It was 80 units down. So I think, you know, we're a little bit better, but it was 80, we had a big 80 unit drop on that month.
Yeah. Here's some stats that I just kind of pulled this morning that are not on the slides. But to give you an idea, county per county, right now in Bonneville County this morning, there's only 161 homes for sale in Bonneville County. Bingham County, 51. Jefferson County, only 28. And I threw in there Madison. Madison has 32 homes for sale. So there are not many homes for sale. And what happens to prices when inventory is low? It goes up. So let's move on to price ranges. So basically in July, the average price point was just above $250,000, $252,485. In July of 2020, up 16.8%, $294,962. I mean, that's crazy. It's not sustainable in many ways, but it's still working. And so, and until we get some more listings, it won't level out. So January, July, to kind of give you a broader feel, because that was just July, okay, when we had inventory at its tightest. But for the whole year to date, average price range was just under $239,000. And overall, in this year for 2020, just barely under $270,000. And so that's still up 12.7%. So anyway, is this your part? I think so. I think I probably went too far, actually. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Take these off so I can see through my glasses. All right, this is an interesting part of our stats because the list to sold price, percentage-wise, last year we got over list to sold. We got over 100% of their asking price. And this year we did about the same, and it stayed pretty dang flat. And so I want some discussion around these next few slides, because when we say things are flat in this market, let me show you a couple more. That was just July to July. January to July, the list to sold percentage was down a little bit, just under asking price. And so that basically stayed flat, that statistic. Our team is getting over, we're still averaging over the ask price on all of our listings. But what do you,
That's a clap.
That's a good one. Clap on that one. Well, what does that mean exactly? What do you guys think that stat tells us?
That means when you list your house, you're going to get asking price.
You're going to get near there, right? Is everybody getting their asking price or just below it? Just below it, right?
I mean, it just depends on the price point too, right? I mean, some price points you're getting over, and some price points, I mean, you might just get slightly under.
So saying it's flat, what do you think that means right now? Because we still have low inventories, we still have decreasing transactions, so we're still feeling that pressure, but month over month we're staying the same pressure, right?
Well, and that just kind of means the market's maintaining. I mean, we're keeping the home sales are going, the prices are remaining high, and I mean, we could always use more homes on the market.
That's exactly right. So it's staying flat based on last month, which is still a compression. And what happens when compression stays and keeps compressing? What happens to whatever's inside that?
I think that's how diamonds are made. That's just what I heard, though.
Yeah.
No pressure, no diamonds.
Yeah.
I think you're right. So the pressure is still there on buyers and sellers, right? But it isn't going. Jessica, you said it well a minute ago. Why don't you explain that real quick?
On the flat,
We're not seeing a big fluctuation, but
Yeah.
we're still feeling the pressure.
we're still feeling the pressure. So when we look at that flat idea, is if we're taking a look at the market and we say it's flat, it means we're not. It means we're maintaining, but it's not skyrocketing. What's interesting is the relationship that the prices are going up, but the list to sell is not decreasing. So it's maintaining that pressure even as those prices skyrocket. So the market is, what's the word for it? Is allowing, but what's the word? Is when they allow
Supporting.
supporting what's going on and the price is going up, because it isn't, otherwise they would list really high and then we would start to see that that ratio go down, but it's maintaining.
They'll list
So,
really high, and
yep.
the first indicator we watch is days on market because they've listed too high for what buyers will support and pay, right? So to save ourselves from a huge discussion on that, days on market, did I skip that one? There we go. Average days on market, July to July, it stayed flat. So if this was increasing this year, we may be seeing a decrease in price or a decrease in the rise of prices, but that has stayed pretty flat. So people are getting what they're asking even when they ask a higher price. So if you're thinking of selling, now may be a time to look at it and get real serious. And then January to July, we saw a slight decrease. So the market is supporting our current asking prices, and we are not outpricing the market right now, and buyers are able to pay this increase or this rise in prices, which will start to affect affordability, right? Because our current salaries in the area may not be supporting 17% year-over-year increases, right? But the interest rates has been able to keep our monthly payments low because as rates decrease, we can still afford properties.
One thing, Jeremy, I'll throw in there. So we looked at our stats, and so far year to date, or over the last 12 months, we're selling homes our team, Murdock Manwaring Company, are selling homes 30% faster than those numbers. So we're selling it for a little over 1% higher than the market, and we're selling them faster than the market.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned that, Chad. So current homes on the market are 233. Last month, 298, or a decrease of 23%, which means and then we have a less than a 1%, or just over 1%, 1 month absorption rate. So if no new properties hit the market, they would all be gone in 1 month. And then let's talk a little bit about the price points as well, because last month we didn't have any homes under 100,000. Now we have 3. 25 in that next, and you can see the average days on the market. So
Jeremy, I might mention on this is our current inventory, right? There's only 3 homes in Jefferson, Bonneville, and Bingham County under $100,000. 3.
And what's interesting about that, there's 69 days average on the market.
Yeah, so they're overpriced.
They're overpriced under 100,000. But look at the discrepancy in the 200 to 299. That's kind of turned into this first-time home buyer in our area, right? 29 days on the market. Those are coming on, and they're going quick. So here's what we talked about, and this is provided by Idaho First Mortgage, that a conventional 30-year loan is at 2.5%, and if you want a 15-year, 2.125%. That is just unheard of. We've just never seen these low of interest rates. So let's move to, does anybody have any additional input on the stats? Austin, you look like you want to say something.
You can't even see my face.
That was a joke.
No, I got nothing. It's great. It's a hot market. It's a good time to buy with low interest rates, and the market's hot, and it's a good time to sell. So we're in a good time both ways.
So I might mention that I talked to a guy yesterday about selling his house, and I just said, if you've ever thought of a time where we are at a crux in a market, it's right now. Why do you guys think that right now is the next month, 2 months, is almost at a crux? What's coming up that could really affect our market? The election, right? We have no idea what will happen after the election. We have no idea. So in that, if our interest rates tick up a little bit, what happens?
The buying power is gone for the buyers, so they can't afford the house prices at this price.
That's right. If we are already in that $200,000 range for first-time home buyers, and we tick up interest rates, and it lops on another $200 to their payment, do you think we're going to see a lot of buyers still fluctuating into the market? So if you're a seller, what does that mean to you? If the buyers might slow, what does that mean to the seller?
Supply goes up, so therefore you're not going to get as high as price on your house.
Yep, competition right now drives that over 100%, doesn't it? Our marketing drives as much competition as possible. So what happens if the competition isn't as hot? And what are we also heading into toward the end of the year? Winter, right? So all of these factors are starting to come into it. If you are going to sell this next month, don't you think it is the most important, the best possible guaranteed time to sell is this month? Because once we hit the election, once we hit school, once we hit winter, we don't know how that's going to adjust. But right now, we have a mass of buyers, a low inventory, rates are great. You have more buyers competing for your house than ever. You will get the most money for your house right now. That's what we'd have the discussion. But we don't know what's going to happen as it adjusts. So
Yeah, we know what it is today.
we don't know what it is today.
We know what it is today. We don't know what it might be tomorrow.
Yeah. What happens when unemployment numbers because of COVID comes out? What if our numbers keep going up from COVID? What will that affect? Now, if you want the maximum, now is the time. Because also now is the time to get into your next home when rates are good.
One thing that I want to add in on the stats is there's a group I was in and people were talking about is say you bought 5-10 years ago and you still have 20-25 years on your loan. With rates so low, you might be able to refinance into a 15-year loan, cut off 5-10 years, and still get just a good payment, if not better, on your house.
Yep. Which leads us a little bit in when we look at closing times. As that happens, more people will be refinancing. It affects our appraisals. They're taking a couple weeks now. So there you go. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I just think you guys, hopefully we're talking to everybody possible. This is the time to shake the bushes with anyone you know. If you've ever thought to sell in the next 2 years, this next month might be the time to really think about it and talk to you guys.
Hey, Jessica, can
Yes.
I just share this really quick too?
Yes, please.
So my friend Haley posted on Facebook about this low interest rate, which I think is amazing. So she says that when she was living in Nampa, she had a 4.25% interest rate on a $185,000 house. And her payment was $1,166 a month. Here in Idaho Falls, with this lower 3%, this is 3%, not down to the 2.5% we're seeing right now. She has a $230,000 house with the same monthly payment. So your buying power as a buyer is absolutely incredible right now. So I think as a buyer, it's totally time to jump in the market.
You can afford so much more house for the low rates right now. People are so worried about prices, but honestly, those prices aren't as big of a deal when you have such a low interest rate.
Exactly. And when rates go up, I mean, people haven't been able to notice the price point because the rates go down at the same time. So the payment's about the same. But once rates start going up, I mean, we got a affordability problem.
Yeah,
so
we do. Which is, it sounds like that's a buyer thing, but in reality, if you're a seller, all of these buyers want to buy. It is the time to sell. It's the perfect time for everybody. Okay, let's just mention nosy neighbors. You guys, we're so excited. We've had so much fun being involved in the community this past month, and it's been really great. We did visit the Snake Bite right over here in downtown, which was awesome. We also went to Vern's Radio Shack. We did the East Idaho Fair tour, food tour. If you haven't seen that and gone out, it's awesome. Tech 10 integrations. Jazzercise was a super fun one. Jazzercise was awesome. And the Stop and Shop out in Firth, by the way, if you've got buyers out there or if you've ever thought about moving to Idaho, but you thought, what in the world am I going to do for income or what am I going to do for work? Why not buy an iconic business? And the Stop and Shop in Firth is awesome.
Country grocery store.
It's the center of the community. And we visited Idaho Falls Farmers Market, which I didn't know was here 30 years. Did you notice they've been doing the Idaho Falls Farmers Market for 30 years?
I didn't know.
I didn't know that either. And then if you didn't see Monday, we went out to the new Sunflower Days, which is the sunflower patch out at the amazing, the Wild Adventure Corn Maze out in between Shelley and Idaho Falls. What we've got coming up, you guys, is we are doing all iconic businesses through August. So you're going to see us do the businesses that are the staples, that are the foundations of our area that have been around forever. So we're doing Oswald Service, Romaine's Mattress King, Idaho Steel, Van Kampen's, Smitty's Pancake House, and Farr's Candy. So super fun this month. If you don't know about some of our really historic businesses here in Idaho Falls, it's awesome. Okay, is there anybody out here, you guys, that has a success story that happened something this month with a buyer or seller? Joe.
I got a buyer success story. So I've been working with this buyer since February. They've working with the same lender since February on a new build, and we got to 2 days before we were supposed to close. The lender calls me up and says, this is in June, the end of June, calls me up and says, Joe, we can't close on the house, not going to work. Can't be done. Sorry to break you the news. This is going to happen. I got them in contact with Idaho First Mortgage, and we just closed on the house today.
Nice.
Man, that's good.
Fantastic. Anybody else have a seller that had a significant?
I got one. So we had one just out in Ryrie or East Mananzalette. Wow. Sure, Ryrie. We'll just say that. And we got it listed and got it under contract, and then shortly after it went under contract, we found out there was a easement running through the middle of the property. Which, I mean, when you find out about that sort of thing after, it goes nuts. So needless to say, it became a fun deal. But the seller, I mean, he was open and transparent, and the buyers were very willing. And the co-op agent, Melissa Bernard, shout out to her. She did a fantastic job in working with me and making that really happen. So it was, I mean, it was a tough one, but we were able to keep it together and keep it alive. So work for the seller, work for the buyer. Everyone was happy.
Nice. Now let's switch you out. Cool.
So I had a buyer that was super appreciative that we really network out, and we have a lot of recommendations for contractors and inspectors and lenders and things like that. So I had some out-of-state buyers that came up and looked at an old house they wanted to restore. So for about 4 weeks, I got them in contact with some contractors. I went out there since they were out of town, got multiple bids on the property. We were ready to make an offer. I called the agent and he's like, hey, I just got a cash offer. And we were going to do one of those home path loans where they can roll the cost of the rehabilitation of the house into the loan. And we're like, wow, there is no way we can compete. Is there even a point in putting in an offer at this point? And I was like, you know, there's enough people. I know enough people. I can find a way to make this work. So I just started calling everybody I knew, lenders, people, like, hey, how can I make this deal work? How can I say this for my buyers? And it's funny how in real estate you meet a lot of new people, but even, you know, from the very beginning when you got in, those people are just as handy as the new ones you meet. So I called a lender that I actually did my very first deal with, Hazel Webb at Caliber Home Loans. And I was like, Hazel, I know you're so smart. I know you're really good at problem solving. You've always done a great job at that. You know, what can I do to help my buyers? And she came up with an amazing solution. The sellers were mainly not after the money, but who could close the quickest. And she came up with a great solution. We actually closed it 3 days later. The buyers got the deal, and now they get to restore the house and move to Idaho. And it's just all about, you know, who you know. And we have such a big team and so many people that we work with as this team that we have those resources for our buyers, you know. So that's one thing I'm grateful to be on this team is there's so many resources and so many people that we know to reach out to. So we had an amazing contractor that they're working with that they are very impressed with, an amazing lender that helped us seal the deal, title company, Title I, Shannon Croft, closed it in 3 days. It was just an amazing deal that worked out really great.
It's awesome. Shout out. That's fantastic. Has anybody else got a story out there that was a success this month?
Yeah, I got one. I do have to take this off because I sound like I'm talking through a pillow anyway. So I'm good. This is more of a plug for the Murdock Manwaring listing department. I was able to be on the buying side of it, but a few months ago I went out and did a video for a home up in the middle of nowhere. And
I grew up there, thanks.
Next to Austin's house.
It is awesome. The house is very unique. A lot of really unique features about it. Anyway, we did this video, and I happened to do the video, but I got a call one day, some people that wanted to go see it. They were out of Utah Valley, and they saw the video, and because of the excellent videos that we do here, they were able to see the details and really get a good feel for the property. So they drove all the way up here just to see that property. I showed it to them. They loved it. They drove home. We made an offer. Anyway, we're closing today.
Woo!
So,
Hey, nice job, Steve.
What I really love about that, Steve, is in the end, we look at sometimes people have properties that aren't on Main Street that people can drive by and see. And those videos and what we try to do to get the word out is a big deal for our sellers. So.
That's true.
Nice.
Right.
All righty.
Thanks, everybody.
That's been the stats.
Can't wait for this month to see what happens in the Idaho Falls market, right?
It's only going to get crazy.
Yeah.
If you want to be in the know on the value of your home, then click on the link or give us a call.
If you love the idea of having someone to contact at any time, that's the benefit of a team. Give us a call, let us talk about your process and how you can have a better experience, a more satisfying experience in real estate with Murdock Manwaring Company.
Have you lost out on a house as a buyer? We have strategies that you can download from our website or give us a call and we'll tell you some of these strategies to help you out.